Hey guys, Spud here, Spud's Outdoors. Today we're doing a review video on the StarknightMT rear tinted windshield for a Polaris Ranger XP 1000. So let's open her up and check her out. Okay. There we go. Here we are. Lack of bench space, but we're using the Ranger to do it. So they got the windshield packed pretty well. Brackets. Bolts, fasteners, and the window seal and the instructions. We'll get this put together and test her out. All right, so we got her opened up, and here's what we have. Nuts, bolts, washers, a couple of brackets, top and bottom, sweet sticker sheet, so you can spread the love of the brand. And also it says, please test the fitment before tearing off protective film. And makes perfect sense. So follow the directions. What I want you to pay attention to is probably having this at the back on the outside. So that's going to be your rear right lower corner, which means you're going to put these on like so. Having that the back rear bottom corner. So your brackets and everything are going on the inside. So we're going to peel the protective layer down just enough to get our brackets in without having to fight to tear this off once we get our fasteners in place. A couple quick things to point out. You're going to need a 10mm socket for the nut side and a 4mm Allen for the end of your screws. And the other thing I wanted to note was the orientation of your two pieces. You can see here you've got this tab that runs in this groove. And then the lock in the two positions are here and here to line up with that. So the two pieces were to go together like this, just like how we've got them started here. All right, the second hot tip I'm going to give for you is that when you tighten this, I want you to do, well, obviously you got to have your wrench, but you're just going to snug it. Now the reason for that is those two locking spots, they need to be able to move and lock in. You can feel the detent in those spots. So you want to have this movable, but not so tight that you're going to bust everything when you put it together. And once we get the seal put on and put in place, the seal is going to provide more of that tension on these two pieces to hold everything in place. So be mindful when you're tightening this bolt and nut together that you don't over tighten it so you cause issues here. Okay, I got kind of carried away here on the install, but you pretty much follow the instructions. These bottom fasteners they all go on the same way, and you just same thing, you snug them up nice and not overly tight. And then you go to put the seal on, which took a couple sets of hands, and my helper didn't want to be on camera, so that part we didn't get videoed. But the biggest thing I wanted to point out about that, where you start the seal, now this is the excess that was with the seal. You just trim it to fit, which is perfectly fine. It's good to have a little extra left over. But you push the groove into the windshield. You want to start at the bottom, because that way if you have any water running, gravity's going to take it right out the bottom, and that's where the factory windshield seal starts and stops as well. So you'll start there in the middle, push and work that seal in. You got to push pretty hard because you got to get it in the groove. It sits in there really well. If you just work your way around and you get to these corners, you push in these corners and make sure that the seal is up against each edge of the poly of the windshield around the corners. And once you've got that part, you just tip the bottom edge of the windshield in and you flip the levers. So we'll go through that. We'll get on the inside and I'll give you a better view of that too. So I've got the one latch on. Got the other two loose here yet, just to kind of show you that when you bring the windshield in, you pretty much drop it in, press it down all the way, and go and turn your latches. And it's a little tough with one guy all by himself here, but I just wanted to show you You know, it's not like there's a lot of restriction there. It fits really well. Like I said, I've only got the one fastened at the moment, so let's go ahead and fasten the other two. We'll get this outside one. See how well that pulled the windshield in? Good seal. Okay, and with the center, I'm just going to pull it in and twist that up as well. Just due to how the cab is put together, they got an extra layer here instead of on this end. You can see it's a little smoother. Where over here, you've got this little bit of a raised edge to work with. And so all I did was loosen this just a little bit to give it enough play to where I could get that to where it needed to sit nice and tight without overly flexing everything. And you can see that one doesn't have this groove in it. It's just the way that they put these together. It still fits on there really nice. That edge just kind of uses it to line up, but it's just one of those things you might have to increase or decrease the tension on that bolt to get it to fit the way you want it to. It's just something that you may encounter as you put it together. With the North Star Ultimate Edition, this is a Trail Boss, we've got accent lights on the inside and ride command screens, so you got extra lights inside that cause a glare. And I'm curious to see if this windshield is any different than the stock clear glass windshield. I'll be running this for a good week and a half, maybe two, and we're gonna, you know, daily life. For me, I run the Ranger just about every day, so get some time on it, and at the end of the video here, I'll let you know what I think, so stay tuned for that. Alright folks, here is the StarknightMT rear tinted windshield seal test. Well, there's a little bit of moisture there, but not much. Not much at all. I really had to put some pressure on there to get it to come through. Cue the seal test for the stock Polaris glass rear windshield. Well, wasn't perfect. All right, so in an attempt to have a somewhat controlled environment to see if the tint is better than the clear glass, we're going to have roughly the same time of day. It's going to be between 11 and noon, and it's a pretty straight shot for the sun. As you can see, we're going to avoid these clouds if we can, and I'll get an average temperature every 15 or 20 minutes or so of what the back of the headrest is that's in direct sunlight in the cab. So let me show you. The sun is hitting right here very well. Right now it's 108 degrees. Like I said, we're gonna let it sit for about an hour or so. I'll keep checking it periodically. All right, it's been an hour. Around 119, 120 degrees. And the outside temp is 70 degrees right now. All right, 70 degrees. Been in here for actually more time than the other one. About another 15 minutes. And it is undoubtedly cooler. So what do I think? I like it. There's for a poly rear panel or rear windshield like this has got some great attributes. We've worked with a few other aftermarkets in the past that did not seal this well. They didn't stay, they vibrated. This one doesn't do any of that. I went from driving with a glass rear windshield to the poly, and I thought maybe I would notice more as far as rattling goes or seal or anything like that. And no, between all the rain we've had the last 2 weeks and finally got some dry roads to drive on today, it works well. The seal works good. We've proven that with the pressure washer test. Looks like both seals, whether that's stock OEM, the best you can get, has a little bit of leakage. About the same with this one, and that is only if you run a pressure washer right here to try to get it through the seal. So 2 thumbs up on that. The seal is good. The tint is definitely better by about 4 degrees from what we tested. I would definitely recommend the tint. And as far as the glare goes, nothing much to report there. You may see from the camera or just looking at it from a distance, you can see a little bit of a, around the panel where the clamps hold it tight, where it flexes. And that's really doesn't bother when you're looking through the windshield from the inside looking out. It doesn't distort your view at all. You don't notice it. So there's really nothing bad to report there. The only negatives that I could see is just it cleans a little bit slower if you're trying to be careful not to scratch it. And it just because of that, it scratches a little bit easier because it's a poly, windshield. That's really all it is. But for $160, you can't go wrong. If you compare this to a Polaris glass windshield or rear panel, they're almost $600. The rear Polaris poly windshield, that's about $400. So StarknightMT has a great product at a great value, where today this one is priced at their retail price is $159.99. So I don't think you can go wrong with this. I give it 2 thumbs up. If you're looking for a replacement rear panel for your broken glass, or one that's too scratched up that you can't see or through it don't like as much, I'd recommend buying one of these. If you don't have a rear panel at all yet, definitely check out StarknightMT. They've got they have a clear option, the smoke option, tinted. They've got several on there to take a look at and check out. I don't think you're going to be disappointed at all. So, like I said, I give it 2 thumbs up. If there's other accessories you're looking for, the StarknightMT has got a bunch of different accessories. Go ahead and go onto their website. I'll have a link in the description. If you guys got questions, please comment below. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.